Carrie, I will, sort of take a step back from what Amit had said and try to, put it in a larger historical context as to why the festivals became one of the vehicles for political action, starting with 1890s. I mean, you see, once British, assumed supreme power in India from the Marathas around, 1818, after the War of 1818, there had been, skirmishes here and there, which, sort of goes till about 1857, where the old elites of India, sort of still kind of fought with British and tried to regain power. But that old elite is completely decimated in the 1857 war, right? 1857, in fact, was perhaps the last high point or the only high point of Hindu-Muslim unity in many ways, where, one of the farmans of Bahadur Shah Jafar said that if Hindus come and cooperate with us in, slaying Englishmen, then Muslims should not kill cows. And those Muslims who do not follow this would be considered an apostate and will be, and those who eat beef would be considered as someone who is as if they have eaten pork, So 1857 is the time when the old elites, both Hindus and Muslims, come together to fight British, and that fight obviously ended in defeat for Indian forces. From then on, it's almost as if the old politics of India has died and a new politics emerges in 1870s. With printing press coming, there's this new form of politics of printing your viewpoints, ideologized politics, writing long papers on different issues of the day, trying to gain power within the British administration through agitation. And you see a lot of constitutional reforms, which starts coming in from 1880s onwards due to that agitation. One of the important aspects of that period is that the Hindu and Muslim politics started getting divided completely. So you see the emergence of Sir Syed Ahmad Khan on the Muslim politics side, and he was being cultivated by British, and the divide and rule policy that one talks about is something that one can see there very, very prominently. So this entire Aligarh movement, which Sir Syed Ahmad Khan started, took the Muslim politics in a completely different direction, which was basically in the direction of cooperation with the British. Whereas with the formation of Congress and with the with the emergence of Tilak, especially, one sees that Hindu politics of the time starts going in the direction which it was, which only sort of gets strengthened later on much more, which is in the direction of anti-British or self-rule. One of the less remarked or less understood things about British rule is the Christian character of it. So the entire 19th century is basically, in a way, a contest between ancient culture of India and the new Christian character of the British rule. Right. So the socio-religious reform and revival movements of 19th century that we see has all kinds of flavors. So there is Brahmo Samaj on the one side, which is in a way, trying to, respond to the times by co-opting some of the aspects of Christianity, and is kind of a mongrel between, Hindu culture and Christianity in many ways. Then there is, movements like Arya Samaj, which is very, very fundamental in character and says that Vedas, that one has to go back to Vedic roots and everything else after that is a corruption. Then lots of social interventions, widow remarriage, education of children, education becomes a big focus. So all of these forces are playing out, and around 1890s, there is some confidence which comes in the emerging new elite of India, that British rule is not something that we need to sort of countenance forever, and that we need to slowly start getting into at least participation, if not outright self-rule, which comes later in the 20th century. And that's where the Hindu imagery is something which Tilak utilizes in order to fire up the imagination for home rule.